Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope all of you are doing well. So, this is going to be my review for Fantastic Four First Steps. This is the first Fantastic Four set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is our fourth theatrical Fantastic Four, but it's our fifth live action version of the Fantastic Four. We had the 1994 film that unfortunately did not get released. It was released on YouTube. There is a documentary that is fantastic on the film, and it does explain about the film itself being leaked online. And then, of course, in 2005, we would get our first theatrical, you know, Fantastic Four, and this, of course, would star, I believe, Michael Chiklis or something like that. I'm sure I'm pronouncing his name wrong. Chris Evans, who would kind of, redeem himself in some way by becoming Captain America, and Jessica Alba. Of course, that film would do well enough to get a 2007 sequel, Rise of the Silver Surfer. And then in 2014, 2015, we got another Fantastic Four film, and this would star Michael B. Jordan and Miles Teller. And yeah, uh, that one unfortunately did not do too well. A lot of people hated that film. I like it to some extent. I may have to review that. I may have to do a Fantastic Four series review of all the films we've gotten. But here we are. We finally have the Fantastic Four part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and back to back to Marvel. It was under the Fox brand, but thankfully, 20th Century Fox was bought out by Disney. So it's kind of a hit and miss because a lot of properties were sent over and, are not getting the treatment they deserve. While, films like The Fantastic Four and Ghost Rider are finally back where they belong with, them being part of Marvel and potentially getting that Marvel Cinematic Universe debut. Now, this film has a very great cast. You have the likes of Pedro Pascal playing Reed Richards, Vanessa Kirby playing Sue Storm, and then you have Joseph Quinn who plays Johnny Storm. Joseph Quinn is coming off the success of a lot of projects. He was in the what is it, like the Quiet Place spinoff, and he was all, I'm sure that's what it's called, right? I don't care too much for those movies. And then, of course, he played Eddie Munson in Stranger Things, the last season of Stranger Things, what, 2, 3 years ago? So, um, yeah, so he's doing pretty well. I don't know what projects he has next. Um, I haven't been paying too much attention. He might be in the Beatles biopic that we're getting next year, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I can't remember. But yeah, it's great to see him play one of my favorite Marvel characters, the Human Torch. And I like. There's a lot I like about this movie. But basically, the plot is that this Fantastic Four takes place in a different Earth, and this Earth is kind of a modern 1960s. So they have advanced technology, but they do keep that, what is the term I'm looking for? I can't think of it. I got like a brain fart. But like they keep stuff from the 1960s, like recordings are put on vinyl record, which I thought was pretty cool. And all in all, just it's very, very what is the term I'm looking for? Very beautiful. This set and the scenery on this earth, with the blend of technology and the blend of this modern 1960s, which is pretty cool. And I do like the fact that in this one, Ben is, he's not looked at as like a freak, like the other films, which I could not stand that. And on this Earth, the Fantastic Four have already had their powers. They're kind of the big heroes on the, in New York. Everybody loves them. They're constantly doing television appearances and interviews and things like that. And the PR and things like that. So it's pretty cool that they're already established. And that's kind of the thing they went with, was to kind of skip the what's the term I'm looking for? The origin story, because by now, we know their origin. I feel like when it comes to Marvel characters that people are not familiar with, same with DC, then yes, you should do the origin story. But if it's a name everyone knows, we know how they got their powers. We don't need the origin story. So it's nice to establish this film and them already have their powers. But basically, Susan gets pregnant, which, of course, this is something that happens in the comics. She does have a child, and of course, Reed is, you know, nervous at being a father and kind of scared, like a lot of too soon to be fathers and mothers at times. And, things seem to be going great, but then the Silver Surfer shows up. And of course, this Silver Surfer is a female version of the character, which is, again, part of the comics. And that's a thing I feel like a lot of people need to start doing, is read these comics, because it just amazes me how many people complain when certain actors are cast to play these characters, not realizing that there's variants in the comics. Same with DC. Like they've been doing recently with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There are Doctor Strange variants, there are Tony Stark variants. So, you're able to have all of these variants, including the Silver Surfer. It just doesn't, it doesn't just go with the heroes, it also goes with the villains. And what's also great is that some variants of the heroes are villains on other Earths, and other villains on another Earth are actually the heroes. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, it just, at times, it can be a mess, but I feel like people really need to start reading the comics, start doing their research, because it just, people are just, I know people are going to complain to complain, but it's, yeah, probably another video for another day. But she lets them know that Galactus is coming. Galactus is this, I don't know what you would call him. He's like a cross between like an alien and this transformer machine type of being, I guess is the best way to put it. And he basically has this hunger, so he devours planets. And in order to kind of cure his hunger and maybe to help him where he could finally like rest, he meets the unborn child of Susan and Reed Richards, and she's not going to give him up. So after this goes on, after they are actually going to, find out what exactly is going to happen, because they do broadcast when the Silver Surfer shows up, and the whole world is like, what are we going to do? We have so many hours before he shows up. So the Fantastic Four decide it's best that they go and find him and see if they can do something, prevent him from coming, maybe work out some type of deal and things like that. And it doesn't end well. So they try to escape, and, one thing leads to another. And of course, this leads into, the Fantastic Four not sure if they're going to be able to save everybody. And I'm not going to give away too much, but that's kind of, I'm sure you can get an idea of what is going to happen based off the trailers. But if you've seen the movie, then you know. But I really enjoyed this film. I've always enjoyed the other films, but there's something special about this one. I mean, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just the fact that they took the time to, put them on an Earth that is true to the comics, the 60s. I think the chemistry between everybody works. I like the fact that this Johnny Storm doesn't seem to be like very obnoxious, tries to joke. I mean, he does, but it's balanced out really, really well, which I do like. I like the fact that he doesn't do the whole flame on thing. He just literally just he's able to just kind of transform on the spot, which is nice. Um, One thing I have a minor complaint, and this is kind of similar to the other Fantastic Four films, is like they focus more on the drama aspect, which is fine. You know, you gotta have a story based, but they have powers. It's kind of like the X-Men. You want to see these action scenes, and I feel like a lot of the action scenes in here were very limited. Um, but I think they're doing it so they can save it for, you know, Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. So I kind of understand to that extent. Again, visually, this movie looks beautiful. I just thought everything blended so well between like the modern and advanced technology, and of course, uh, you know, it being like a modern day 1960s. My sister basically said it's the Jetsons. We're watching the Marvel Cinematic Universe of the Jetsons, and you kind of, when you watch it and you look at it, you're like, wait, yeah, I can see it. It was kind of similar to like that with Black Panther. When I first saw that movie, when it released in theaters, it was like I was watching The Lion King, because there's a lot of the story that kind of relates to the same plot or synopsis of The Lion King, and Fantastic Four is kind of like that in some way, you know, just more of a modern, you know, Jetsons. Excuse me. I had something to drink, so it's like trying to make me burp. And yeah, the score I thought was fantastic. My only minor complaint is if I hear that Fantastic Four theme one more time, it was just it was pretty annoying. I feel like, you know, certain scenes it worked, but it was just getting to the point like every time you turn around it was that. It was kind of like similar to like when Spider-Man shows up, he kind of has his own theme, you know, in some way. Um, but yeah, I felt like they could have toned it down a little bit. Of course, as we all know, they cut out John Malkovich's scenes, which sucks. That's disappointing. I've always liked John Malkovich. I think he's a fantastic actor. His range of films are great, and for him to be part of the MCU and just to cut his scenes like that is very disappointing. It's kind of similar with to WWE superstar Seth Rollins when they cut out some of his scenes in Captain America: Brave New World. Um, yeah, that was a little disappointing, but what can you do, you know? Um, yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot you can say with this film. It does have its complaints, but all in all, I think they did right this time. Yeah, it took 5 times. You know, they say fifth time the charm. But I think they did well with it. You know, you can tell they try to give an introduction to people who may not be familiar with them without having to go back and, oh, here's how they got their powers, and you know. So I think it worked. I truly do feel like it worked. The scenery of them being in space looks fantastic, and I cannot wait until that hits 4K, because those scenes are gonna pop out. This is a 4K buy for me, without a doubt. This movie's gonna look amazing, and I'm hoping that when this gets released, we'll finally see the 2005 and the 2007 film get a, you know, a 4K release. I would like to see a Fantastic Four box set. Give us all the Fantastic Four films that have come out together. Um, that would be cool. But I wish I could say more about this film. Everything I've pretty much said is kind of, you know, what I, you know, what I thought was worth sharing. Check it out. You know, you don't have to wait to, or you don't have to go to the theaters. You can wait until it gets, you know, released on digital or home video. I mean, you're not missing out. It's not like it's going to be this most spectacular film like the Avengers, but it is a fun ride. I thought it was, you know, a great story. I thought the chemistry worked. I thought the actors were great. Yes, it's going to have its complaints and its flaws, but all in all, they did right this time, and I couldn't be happier. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in to my review and my thoughts on Fantastic Four First Steps. If you saw the movie, I would love to hear your opinion on what you thought. And you know what? Let me know what your thoughts are on the other Fantastic Four films that we have gotten. Who would you like to see be a villain for a possible sequel or a third film? What would be a great story for the future of the Fantastic Four film series? I would love to hear your guys' opinion. Don't forget to give this video a like. It's very much appreciated as we're getting close hitting some goals. After this review gets uploaded, I believe we're going to be 3 movie reviews away from 300 film reviews, which is awesome. I cannot wait. That's going to be a great milestone. Who knows what I'll do as a special thank you. Maybe I do like a really cool movie review of some sort. I don't know. We'll see. And we're getting, close. So hopefully getting the 3,000 watch hours and 500 subs tier to get monetized, and we're getting close to 2,000 subs. My dreams are finally coming true to some extent. We're getting there. Things in my personal life aren't too bad. I'm losing weight. I don't know if I've shared that with you guys, but I have been dropping weight. I have lost almost 50 pounds. I think I'm at 46. Just to give you guys a little backstory, many years ago, I was pushing 3 pounds away from 300, and it woke me up. Clothes not fitting and things like that. So I basically got to the point of it was time for me to make a change. I cut a lot out. I don't eat a lot of certain things as often. I'll have some, but I don't eat it as often as I used to. I've cut back down on a lot as well. Like I don't eat cereal as much. Like I eat oatmeal, eggs, bread, and things like that. So but yeah, just eating right and cutting back on a lot, I managed to lose 46 pounds. So my goal is to hit 200 at least first, and then kind of go from there. But yeah, just figure out share that with you guys, and I've got a lawyer to hopefully get the Social Security so I can finally get my shoulder taken care of. So yeah, there's a lot going on. Not anything too stressful, just kind of the norm. I'm gonna try to get back into watching movies again. I've been putting more focus on YouTube, catching up on videos from subscribers because I've been slacking, but I've also been slacking on watching movies, so I need to get into it. We're getting close, to Halloween Horror 4. We're already in August. That is awesome. So I don't want to make this video too long. So with that being said, thank you guys so much. I am Film Talk with Mikey. Till next time, you guys have a good one. Take care. I'll see you guys very soon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy your night, morning, evening, afternoon, depending on the time of day you're watching this. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.